Welcome to UGC NET Computer Science and GATE Computer Science students. In today's topic, I will be discussing part 3 of system software and operating system. If you have any queries, you can reach in this email, or you can WhatsApp me. Okay, I am going for problematic questions, how to approach for June 2020 year. Okay, so now suppose a system has 12 instances of some resource with n processes competing for the resources. Each process may require 4 instances of resource, maximum value of n for which system never enter into deadlock. Okay, so this is actually Banker's algorithm by which you want to avoid the deadlock. They provided some instance that is 12, and so they are saying that we need to keep some n process in such a that each process supposed to take resources for instance. Then what is the number of process for which it never have deadlock. Okay, so here they mentioned 4. Okay, so now what we want to do here is we can allocate 3 process with 12 instant each 4. Okay, so never have deadlock is nothing but 3. Okay, and next one is computer uses a memory unit with 256k words of 32-bit each. A binary instruction code is stored in one word of memory. Instruction are 4 parts: an indirect bit, operational code, and register code, and then specify one of the 64 register for this register code, and address part also present there. They are asking how many bits are there in operation code, register code part, and address part. Okay, so totally how many bits there is nothing but to access the memory 32 bits. Okay, and they are provided information that an indirect bit, which means 1 bit we already reserved for this indirect bit. We don't know what is operation code size. And then register code, they specified that how many number of registers, 64 in the sense we can represent in 2 power 6. Okay, so now number of bits required to represent register code is 6 bits. Okay, and then they say that the memory unit with size of memory is 256k, which means 256 can be represented in 2 power 8. K in the sense kilobytes, which is nothing but 2 power 10. So 2 power 8 into 2 power 10, which is nothing but 2 power 18. Okay, now to find the operation code, which means size of operation code is nothing but complete instruction set size, which is nothing but 32 bits. Okay, minus size of indirect bit is 1, size of register bit we calculated that as what, 6. Okay, 2 power 6 is nothing but 64. Then address part is nothing but 2 to 6, which can be represented in 2 power 18. Okay, so it is nothing but 32 minus 1 plus 6 plus 18, so which is nothing but 32 minus 25, which is equal to 7. Okay, so now we completed size of operation code as 7. They are asking how many bits are there in operation code, 7, register code is 6, and address part is 18. Okay, so now 7, 6, 18, C is correct answer. Okay, next we go for okay, so they mentioned that consider the following set of processes and length of CPU burst time given in millisecond. Okay, so we have 4 process. Completion time is 5 second or millisecond. Process P2 for which 7, P3 6, and P4 4. Assume that each process being scheduled with round robin scheduling algorithm with time quantum size as 4 millisecond. Then waiting time of P4 they are asking to find out waiting time, which is nothing but turnover time minus burst time. So that is a waiting time. And what is turnover time is nothing but completion time minus arrival time. Okay, so here we will be going with the order. We are representing P1 up to P4, right? Okay, so here arrival time for every process 0, burst time they mention, completion time when it has to do. Okay, so if you are having a round robin algorithm, irrespective of completion time, every process can enter and can be execute its work for some given what is called quantum time. Okay, 4 seconds. Suppose P1 entering, P1 has to complete within 5 seconds, but initially it can complete only for what is called 4 seconds only. Okay, so that can be represented in Gantt chart. P1 arriving, it completing 4 millisecond. Then what happened? So in order to complete P1, it has to wait in queue again, because burst time for P1 is 5. Okay, now P2 is arriving. P2 burst time is nothing but 7, so it can be executed for 4 seconds. Remaining 3 more seconds it has to do. For that it has to wait again. Now P3 is coming. Okay, so now what happened? P3 will be complete within 6 milliseconds. So now here what happened is it will be performed for 4 milliseconds. After that 2 more milliseconds it has to wait. So we are again keep in wait queue. And P4 coming, so quantum time is also 4 millisecond. This burst time also 4 millisecond. So at P4 will be finishing its task at 16th millisecond. So which means completion time for P4 is 16. Okay, and then what is turnover time is also same. Okay, and what is the waiting time? So this P4 has to wait till P1, P2, P3 has to be completing its task each 4 millisecond. Okay, so totally 12 millisecond. That is our answer. Okay, so no need to complete remaining things. Simply with the help of this Gantt chart we can able to do it. Okay, so our task is you want to find out how long this P4 has to wait to complete its task. Okay, they are never ask what time it completing. They are asking how much time it waiting to complete its task. It is nothing but 12 millisecond. Okay, so is the answer. Next one is consider a system with 2 level caches. Okay, so access time of level 1, level 2 cache and main memory are 0.5 nanosecond and then 5 nanosecond and 100 nanosecond respectively. Okay, what is the meaning is we can access the any data with 0.5 nanosecond from the level 1 cache, 5 nanosecond from the level 2 cache, and if you want to access from main memory it take 100 nanosecond. The iterate of level 1 and level 2 cache are 0.7 and 0.8 respectively, which means we are keeping 3 memory. One is L1 cache, next one is L2 cache, and next one is main memory. Okay, suppose I am doing some task for that data needed which can be present in the level 1 cache. So how much percentage of data present in level 1 cache is 0.7%. Otherwise it is iterate is nothing but among 100 70% is available, that is 0.7. Like that data present for completing task by CPU present in level 2 cache is 0.8. okay, which means 80% hit ratio. So what is the miss ratio for this L1 is 100 minus 70 30, miss ratio for L2 is 100 minus 80, 20. Okay, so what is the average access time of the system ignoring the search time with the cache? Okay, so which mean in order to represent this one, we need to have the following formula: level 1 hit rate into level 1 access time, which mean I am searching some data which is present in L1 cache, so I am taking that, so within 0.5 nanosecond. So which mean what is here is I can access 70% of data with this access time. Okay, I want to multiply. Plus, suppose we are searching from the what is called L2 cache. When we go is whenever we are not able to find such a data from L1 cache. So miss ratio I want to multiply here. 70 minus 100 is nothing but 30, that which is nothing but 0.3 into hit ratio of this L2 cache is 0.8 into access time of this particular L2 cache. They clearly mention 5 nanosecond. Okay, so I am multiplying. Plus, suppose which is not present in L1 or L2, we want to look on main memory. For that access time is 100 into what are the parameter we want to multiply here is nothing but the miss rate of L1 cache into miss rate of L2 cache into access time. Okay, so now what happen is 30%, 20% for L2 into 100 nanosecond. If you are multiplying all, we will be getting 7.55 nanosecond, which is option B. Okay, next one is consider a disk pack with 32 surfaces, 64 tracks and 512 sector per back. 256 bytes of data are stored in a bit serial manner in sector. Number of bits required to specify particular sector in a disk is. Actually, if you are taking disk, okay, this will be consider number of surfaces, and then each surface with number of track and each track with the number of sector. Okay, and they specify the size of all those information, and you want to represent how many bits required go and seek particular sector. Okay, which mean in order to go with the particular sector, first I want to know in which surface, and then I want to know on that particular surface on which track. Okay, then I want to go to particular sector area. Okay, so now first you want to know the bits required to represent the surface 32, which is nothing but what, 2 power 5 is nothing but 32. Okay, so now 5 bits required to seek a particular surface. Okay, now on surface we want to go for track. Okay, so how many track is nothing but 64, which can be represented 2 power 6. So number of bits required to go and seek particular track is 6 bits. So far 5 plus 6 bits, and then here we want to go to particular sector. The sector size they represent 512, which can be represented 249. So 9 bit we need to seek sector. So totally 5 plus 6 plus 9. Okay, 11, 20 bits needed. Okay, so option is answer B. Okay, so next one is suppose for a process P, references to pages in order are 1 2 4 5 2 1 2 4. Assume that main memory can accommodate 3 pages and the main memory has already pages 1 and 2 in the order. Okay, so which mean we have 3 page frame already. Page frame 1 and 2 are filled with pages 1 and 2. Okay, at this moment assume we are following FIFO page replacement algorithm. then number of page fault that occur to complete the execution of task. Okay. So now we want to go for placing such a data here. Okay, initially 1 is filled and 2 is filled in second page or page frame. Then what is coming here is nothing but their what is here coming. They say that 1 and 2 already filled, we should not take that as page fault. Okay, now 4 is coming, we are accommodating, so page fault is 1. Okay, now 5 is coming, where we want to accommodate only at very longest period by which we filled the page. Okay, so now initially filled here, so I am replacing here. Okay, now page fault is 2 for filling or replacing 1 by 5. Okay, next 2 is coming, 2 already there, there, and then 1 is coming. Okay, so now for that what happened here, I mean where you want to replace this one. Okay, actually 2 is replaced very immediately 1, so this is the longest time by which we are having, so we are replacing this 2 by 1. Okay, so again 2 is coming, we want to replace this 4 by 2, so far page fault is what? For 4 1 page fault, for 5 1 page fault, for this 1 third page fault, for this replacing 4 by 2 another page fault, so 4, so far count is 4. Now what happened, again 4 is coming, so we have to replace this 5 by 4, page fault is 5. Okay, so now if you are eliminating placing 1 and 2 as page fault, the page fault is count 5. Okay, so if you want to take this as a page fault, then so far how many page fault is 7, you want to subtract 2, because we no need to calculate or taken consideration for taking this as page fault 1 and 2. Okay, so 7 minus 2, otherwise we can skip these two page fault. So starting from here 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, 5 page fault there. Okay, I stop here. I'll be continuing remaining questions and discussion in part 4. Thank you for watching.